Thank you and welcome back to 5 Minutes of Relevance. I'll try and cut it short because my camera only gives me about 10 minutes of recording time. So this is 2012, the year that all conservatives and Republicans have been waiting for. I say conservatives because there actually is a distinction between the two. Anyways, we're going to get more into that as we go along. I think it's been quite clear that there is a emerging third party. It is the Tea Party. It is not the Libertarian Party. It is not Ron Paul. The Tea Party is purple. The Republicans are red and Democrats are blue. The Libertarian Party is green. If you want to look up the differences, you can go on to Google and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when I say that we're Tea Party and we're fiscal conservatives. With that in mind, we're going to go ahead and talk about our aspirations for 2012 and our goals, and also a few other things when it comes to what is going on for January. Governor Nathan Deal gave his State of the State address the other night, to which it won high praise in the effort to get a lot of work done as far as making the state shock absorbent to the deficit. We had a 2-day emergency fund last year. We have surpassed that 138% to $381 million. So the state of Georgia is in a good state to weather the government shutdown if that occurs in March. Now, the other issues that we have at hand when it comes to that is we have Obama having more than 40 Supreme Court cases this year. We have some that have been dragging on for a few years now, but you have to look up each individual case in order to understand what's going on. We are having a major budget battle that's about to heat up, with Obama asking for $1.2 trillion more in spending when we passed a unanimously consented continuing resolution for last year that he still has failed to sign the pipeline permit as a provision of that resolution. So now we're in a situation, since he has been impeached on the 1st of January, that he is asking for more money than he has jobs to justify the spending. It's really been a matter of his policies that are the problem, and also with his inability to uphold the Constitution and law breaking when it comes to failing to balance a budget and leading by misappropriation, which is totally inappropriate for any elected official. There are another number of things that are totally inappropriate that we will get to in regards to Michelle Obama. We have received numerous complaints about the cost of her wardrobe, in that it is so expensive it could feed the Occupy Wall Street movement and the poor. This coming in the fact that we have a national debt that usurps 100% of the gross domestic product, meaning we have a First Lady who does not care what she spends, in the respect that everything that Americans make will not be enough to pay down the deficit at this point. We've also been told that there have been allegations of a secret affair with Gibbs, and that this has led Michelle Obama to have a surrogate presidency. A lot of this has been touted with the release of her book, The Obamas, where it talks about tensions in the White House. And of course, this has been verified by other press sources that this has been going on for quite some time. We're kind of pissed off about this diet hypocrisy that she seems to have. Her unethical use of money spent on travel, where she has been documenting her daughters as her senior advisors. And all of this with her and her husband taking separate planes when they travel, which we have already categorized diplomacy spending and travel as something that needs to be cut to the bare minimum from last year. Okay, I want to touch back on what I said about Obama's fundraising and his issues of breaking the law. Most of his money has come from CAIR, which is the Council for American and Islamic Relations. No one's really donating to his campaign, and the money that he's gotten so far has come from corrupt Democrats' coffers. So much so, in fact, that he has actually been ruffled by the fact that Santorum has raised $1 million since Iowa and another $3 million or so since New Hampshire. I want to move on from that for a second, and I want to talk about Ron Paul. Ron Paul has been criticized for being an isolationist when it comes to foreign policy. And I can understand why people get that, but when he runs around making statements that he blames Israel for the creation of Hamas, you wonder where he really stands when it comes to foreign policy. He's also voted against the Martin Luther King holiday. He voted against the Civil Rights Act. And those are major things for most people who believe in the American ideals of equality. Now, that is something that Ron Paul seems to report for votes, and I think it's going to seriously unravel for him as we get to South Carolina and onward. Ron Paul and Romney both seem to be campaigning against the ghost of Obama, and not realizing that since Obama was impeached January the 1st, that he is not even really a consideration when it comes to where the 2012 race is actually headed. I want to move on to NEWT, Huntsman, and Perry as the group of three of the not Romneys. I want people to think about who would be the best person for nomination, why or why not. To me, I think that NEWT is just too old hat. I think he's big GOP party, and when it comes to the principles of conservatives, he is more talk than he is action. When it comes to Huntsman, I believe that he is the conservative alternative to Romney, but he is the Mormon alternative to Romney, if you catch what I'm saying. To me, out of looking at all the job creation policies, including the tax reform gimmicks like 999, that was to somehow socially engineer that Obama's misappropriation would be magically paid for, I want to say that I believe that Perry has the only and best job creation policies. Obama's policies is what have killed jobs, 25 to 30 million jobs, and I see that if we start implementing Rick Perry's policies now, we can go ahead and even create jobs before the nomination is decided. To me, I want to close out with some things that I think that just are not good whatsoever. We have reports that Marine snipers have been urinating on Taliban kills, people that they have shot and killed. They have been peeing on them and saying things that are very disrespectful to the dead. We do not practice desecration of bodies, and I think that this is a weapon of mass distraction, something that the media is starting to milk on to kind of get us focused off of Obama and focused off the nomination race. I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm not saying that it's not wrong. I'm just saying that you should look at the way media is portraying something that normally would have been handled as a private military matter or between leaders of the various countries involved. Homeland Security is now tracking you on Facebook and Twitter, and they are using cookies, hashtags, and CAPTCHAs to spy on you and record information, meaning photos that are uploaded. Two things that came up was the No Obama We Can't Wait bumper sticker produced a hashtag, and so did the No NEWT with the, circle / mark. Other things that I think that are weapons of mass distraction, things that will take us off course for 2012 that we need to guard against. We cannot fall back into any kind of lack of desire to see a nominee that is worth having for the party. And what I mean by that is, some people are saying they're going to use this weekend to decide who they're going to pick. And this is going to be a big deal for evangelical voters. I want to caution them that they should research the rules for eligibility of candidates, because this may become a problem with Romney as others, as well as Obama. And we haven't had this issue really since Obama has come to office, and we have not made a constitutional amendment. These are all things that have to be considered with the election, and I don't want anybody to have sour grapes. So on that regard, join me next time for 5 minutes of relevance. Thank you.